performances and productions in Bombay, I don't see any of these kids ever holding their dialogue paper in their hands. Here, when we talk about trained and untrained actors, it really doesn't make a difference because sometimes it is the innocence and the ignorance that helps a movie like Manvasane. While dubbing, I used to say, இன்னும் better பண்ணிருக்கலாம், இது இங்க இப்படி பண்ணிருக்கலாம், ஏன் இப்படி பார்த்தேன், that constantly kept on coming, and I suppose that is where you learn. And I didn't know what to do with my hands because for an actor the biggest issue most actors will understand is what do they do with their hands. Most men put it into their pockets. What do women do? They will hold their pallu. If you don't have a pallu, what do you do with your hands? Kamalji told me the biggest issue is hands. Ilya, he said. And I realized that he has noticed, thanks to many of the directors who have taught me, is not to act in front of the actors. Malayalam, there's a movie called Kakothikavla Pupantadigal. I acted as a gypsy. Oh, I loved doing that because I was doing, I was wearing dirty clothes. I was dirty, looking dirty all the time. And I would sit anywhere. I would just, wipe my mouth. And I was happy doing it. And suddenly I felt, oh, it would have been a great thing to have a gypsy life, isn't it?
Darling, mobile உலகின் superstar.
MCR Pure Cotton Club, formals and casual shirts.
பாரம்பரியமான சுவையான புது அறிமுகம் KTV True Value Bronatile.
When you think of the generation that you come from, and one of the things that you pointed out was the actors in your generation, this whole thing about being a wholesome woman was not just you, but many actors. It was not, one did not find, because there was a clear demarcation between the vamp and the heroine. So there would be somebody who played the bad woman, or it took a while before
they merged.
They merged. And even today in Tamil cinema, you don't see too many of those kinds of characters. But Hindi is a little bit different because you do find, when you said female Dawn, I thought of Gangubai Kathiawadi, for instance. It's like not that she's a Dawn, but she's a, like a...
She holds, the reins.
Yeah. So when you acted with Alia in the toothpaste commercial, I just loved watching it simply because there's a silliness to it, but it's very sweet, the whole thing. Did you kind of, talk about being an actor or whatever it is with her and compare notes then versus now?
No, we didn't do that. She just had a baby, so she was in a very, she was preoccupied. But that ad, I did that only because it has that very, what do you call it? A kind of a British sense of humor. Either you get it or you don't get it. So.
I loved your spectacles.
Yes, I loved it.
They were just so perfect. Whoever did the props got the perfect pair of...
No? Yeah. We chose that for that,
Yeah.
It was good fun. I love doing things like that, but somebody see the ad and write a story for me. I mean, please.
Yeah. But when you talk about Alia, or you talk about people like Kareena Kapoor, or like, they still have a career going and they get good roles.
Yeah.
After your leading woman stage, when you kind of phased into, like you were acting with Ajit in Red, I think the movie was?
Yes.
Yes. Those, you get into those slightly character actor kind of things.
Early 2000, yes.
Yeah. You pretty much said, I don't want to do that, and left that, right?
Yeah, because I think I've done some great films. So the films have always challenged me, and so when I started getting roles like that, I said, I'm done with it.
Right.
Then again, I actually went and revamped myself, rejuvenated myself with theatre. And that's when I plunged into theatre and did a few plays and then came back.
How was that?
It was great. It was just great.
Had you done theatre before?
No, never. So this was my first foray, and I spoke with Arundhati Nag, and she guided me, and so I did a couple of productions for Ranga Shankara, the theatre group that she has, and that really changed my perspective towards performance, and it really helped me.
And how?
I was going into an emotional down because this is a career I love, and I didn't get what I wanted to do. It was getting too tough. There was a different dip in my personal life. So everything together was very tough. But when I went into theatre, it was like a child learning, from the very beginning, from the start. So, and I started meeting some fabulous theatre people, and I traveled with her to some of the theatre companies in Karnataka, and that really rejuvenated me. And suddenly, acting had a different meaning because I didn't know what method acting was. I've read about it, but I never knew what it is or how do you train an actor. I always felt, how can you train an actor? But then I realized it's not about training you to act, but training you to control yourself.
Okay.
So it's not about that the anger on your face will be different from the anger on my face, and it'll also be different according to situations. So they can't teach you to do that, but they teach you how to control what you can do, physically, emotionally, handle yourself that way. And I think that's very important, because otherwise sometimes I remember that certain scenes you break down and you don't know how to control yourself.
Right.
And you go berserk, So it helped me a lot. And it helped me to kind of channelize my my passion towards acting. It taught me to channelize that well.
And have you used that in your later roles?
Yes, that helped me.
Like, can you give me?
After that, whatever roles I've done, I've kind of channelized it in such a way which was very simple and nice. It helped me. Now, we did a series called Ziddi Girls, and in that it's just, a few scenes, 1 or 2 scenes. But there was this scene where I'm talking to the girls, and I'm talking to them. And, there's a breaking point, which you can go overboard. Because that character might have gone overboard. But then, like, I spoke to Shonali, the director, and told her that if possible, if everything, and can we do it? And the first take was beautiful, but even if, I think we did 2 takes, but even if she had wanted me to do the 3rd or 4th, I would have been able to do it. Because I had known how to channelize my emotions properly to be able to get that graph.
Right.
So it's a craft that you learn.
In India, unlike, let's say, the US or the UK or other filmmaking countries, a lot of people that come into the movies come in because of, I want to act, or they're not trained actors. You trained yourself through this, but like there are many people that come in and do what the director is told, and that kind of.
I was like that, no, in the beginning.
At the early, yeah.
In the early.
So what I'm saying is, when you encountered particularly tough situations, like, or films like, without going into specific situations, let's say the movie you did with Rajnikant, like Kai Kodukum Kai, which is like a kind of a tough role for that time, right? For the age you were also, or even Manvasne, for instance, because you're this urban.
Jeans-clad girl who had to wear pin koswam.
And you had to go and, recite these big dialogues of like, like how did you handle those situations?
Here, when we talk about trained and untrained actors, it really doesn't make a difference, because sometimes it is the innocence and the ignorance that helps a movie like Manvasane.
Okay.
I just did what Bharatwaj sir told me to do. Kai Kum Kai was a little bit of an instinct, where I watched a couple of films to understand what is being blind. And there is a training of dance in me, so that definitely helps me. I think that is how I handled those characters. And somewhere I think there is a bit of an instinct as an actor, which I don't know where it comes from, it's there. But when you train, there is a different kind of, like what I see, some of the young actors these days, in most of performances and productions in Bombay, I don't see any of these kids ever holding their dialogue paper in their hands. Because it's planned, and the scenes are given to them, the script is, they are by heart with their lines. And you shoot the entire scenes from different angles, 5 different angles, the same thing with close-ups, longs, or whatever. Nowadays, that's how it is happening because you have digital camera and you can shoot tons of footage. These kids are able to do it beautifully. I get exhausted. So there is a training in them, which again, like I said, it's a craft. You don't get completely emotionally invested.
Right.
So there is a good, bad in everything, but
Completely emotionally invested as in?
say for example, the scene in Marubadi, where I speak to Rohini.
On the phone?
On the phone.
Huh.
And I'm begging her and crying, you know. I was so exhausted by the end after the rehearsals and everything was quiet and Balu sir said, go, and he did a single take and whatever. I was so exhausted because I was emotionally invested in it that Balu sir had to give me about half an hour break before I could get into it all over again, you know, starting from point A. So that doesn't happen because there is a planned craft in what you're doing. Now, is it good, bad? I can't judge because they're doing a good job.
I'm finding a little hard to comprehend that you can perform without being emotionally invested in a role.
I think there is a percentage of emotional investment.
Okay.
It's not like you completely are drained out. Now, if an actor is asked to do the same shot again, they will take about 5 minutes and then come back.
Right.
In Salam Venki, there was a scene that happened where Kajol breaks down in front of the mirror, you know, and she really broke down. So she's also from the generation where you're not trained to hold, because there are many things that happen in an actor's head when you're doing a scene like that. And she broke down so much that it took about 10 minutes for her to, control herself after the shot was cut. Just go and hug and hold her to just, and it takes time and it's exhausting, you know. So that I have not seen with young actors.
Right.
Or maybe there are no scenes like that. I don't know what it was, but I saw that with Kajol, you know, and it kind of broke my heart because I said, I never want to do that to an actor as a director. But then there are situations which are written like that and the actor just takes it on and gets into it beautifully, and she did it so beautifully.
What was it like directing Priyamani in Good Wife?
Priyamani is a pleasure to work with. The reason is, many. It is very easy to connect with her. She takes on the role, she's so committed to what she's doing. She takes on the role completely. She has very rarely she has argued on or even said anything with regards to her clothes, her makeup, her hairstyle, nothing. The first thing I said is I'd like to make it as real a character as possible, so any of our women who watch it, they feel, oh, she dresses like me, she's like me. We didn't want her to go beyond any thing, whether her look or what she says or what she does. There were times when she's wearing a nightie and, I said that she's in the kitchen and she's dropped something. So there is, everything was so cool and it felt so nice to work because I'm an actor like that. And when I find, actors being a little difficult, I get really upset, So she is like a cakewalk. She gets her lines. She wastes not a second with regards to changing or with regards to, having her lines. And in the end, when she comes in front of the camera, she is there, 100% there, and she has eyes that are so powerful that there are times when, I just tell her, you don't do anything. Just stay there. Right. Just be there, and just think about the emotion that you're going through, and it's there in her eyes.
Nice.
It's a real pleasure to work with her.
You have acted in many languages, and when you first did them, you probably didn't know some of them. So you were learning lines phonetically and then acting.
Yes.
As per the director's instructions, which you were doing anyways. Did you find that tough?
Very tough, Baradwaj. When you don't understand the words that you're speaking, it's
Did
very
you know
tough.
Telugu when you did Prema?
No, by the time I did Prema, I could understand Telugu.
Okay.
But the couple of films that I did before that, I found it very... Because Prema is the first film I dubbed for myself.
Okay.
You know, so before that it was tough. So I started the only way is you talk to the people in the unit, in the language. That's why I have not done Kannada. I did 2 films. I found it extremely tough. I couldn't even understand the language. I couldn't get it.
You did 2 films in Kannada.
I did 2 films and I said, that's it. I'm not doing... I can't do a film in a language that I don't know, you know. That's one thing good about Priya, because she knows the language. She may not, speak it like a very local Tamil person, but she has an urban Tamil, which was perfect for Tarunika.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it is very nice.
So when you choose the project that you want to direct, like you said that there was a, when you did Phir Milenge, Shilpa Shetty's character was roughly the age and roughly, around what you were. And similarly, Mitra was Shobhana's character, Salam Venki, Kajal's character. When you are doing this, you are also as an actor feeling what they're feeling, along with being a director and doing this overall eagle's eye thing of this prop is not there, that thing is like, is that also happening?
Yeah, that also happens.
Right.
And
So you're doing double duty?
Yes, at times. But then I consciously try to tell myself not to get in too much. The one thing I have learned to do over the years, thanks to many of the directors who have taught me, is not to act in front of the actors.
Okay.
You know?
So you don't perform and show that?
I never perform and show. Because I know that if I perform, it is in every actor to imitate without your knowledge. So then everybody's performance or the timing of the lines might sound the same. So I never do that. But I do get invested in my characters when I see that, when I look. And for me, I find it very difficult to sit in front of monitor and watch the actors. I keep going to the camera and watching them, because that is the school I come from, So many times my DOP's Siddharth in this project used to keep chasing me away, saying, go sit in front of the camera and see, what is happening in the frame. The monitor, and see what is within the frame. But I love to look at the eyes of the actors.
But the monitor, it's made things easier because...
It is definitely easier because you see exactly what you're going to finally see, I don't know, it's just that I have to keep teaching myself, unlearning and coming back and doing that.
So would it be right to say that when you did, because you said that actors tend to mimic the directors if they act, would it be right to say that what I'm seeing Revathi do in Manvasana is actually Bharati Raja performing?
A lot of it,
okay.
Definitely. There are scenes where he may not have performed, but whenever he performed, I feel that I look like him. As the timing, and especially, it's exactly the kind of timing that he would do.
So
but
it's not
as
just
a
the
newcomer,
expressions, it's
okay.
also the lines, the delivery of the lines.
Yes, because you will catch that, because that sounds correct.
Right.
It's perfect.
Right.
So that immediate, and you do it without your knowledge.
Right.
It just happens. So that I have kept myself consciously out of.
Would Mahendran perform for you?
No, Mahendran sir never performed for me.
What about Balu Mahendra?
Balu sir, no. Balu sir mostly told me the emotion behind what is happening. But no, he did not perform.
And Balachandra?
Balachandra sir, no, very rarely. There are just certain expressions or certain timing of, turning, especially humor. Sometimes they say, hey, that kind of a thing. So, not really, but yeah, once in a way he would do that.
When you ask people today about the good Tamil actresses, I'm talking about Tamil right now, but your name definitely comes up in that. When you look at your own performances, what do you think?
There are times, there are films that I've felt that, oh, nice, I've done a good job, or some of the expressions. But a lot of them I feel, oh my God, I wish I had done much better, oh my God, this was so well written. What happened to me? Why did I do this? But otherwise the thing is, that happened even when I was dubbing, because we dubbed all our films. And while dubbing, I used to say, இன்னும் better பண்ணிருக்கலாம், இது இங்க இப்படி பண்ணிருக்கலாம், ஏன் இப்படி பார்த்தேன், that constantly kept on coming. And I suppose that is where you learn. The day you feel that, oh, you're fabulous, you're dead.
Which are the films that you liked yourself in?
There are a few scenes I like in Maunaragam.
Okay, few scenes, okay.
Yeah, I love Manvasane because I can never repeat that performance. Tevar Magan, a couple of scenes. Marubadim. But again, there I have my criticisms towards the way I have spoken.
What about something like Kilukam?
Oh, Kilakam I enjoy. I enjoy the film too because that is so out of my character.
That's such a lovely performance
Yeah.
for me. It was so light and breezy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, your co-star. So that was just that combination was so fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that is so out of my character that even now when I watch it, I enjoy it.
Right. I get called to do these, small roles occasionally, either as some Don, like a...
Really? I haven't seen you.
Like a professor. Good thing you haven't seen
I have
me,
to
because I'm a
see.
bad actor. Whenever I'm in there, one thing that I've been unable to shake off, not that I'm a professional actor, but because I'm very curious about this, I'm very self-conscious.
Yeah.
Because I'm aware that I'm this person who's playing this person and saying these lines.
It's not me, huh?
It's not me. Is that a normal thing, or do you slowly lose that as you become an actor?
I think you slowly lose it. But for me, what happened is, before I became self-conscious of myself, my physicality, or who I am, I became an actor. So I think I molded well into everything.
Yeah, we started very young.
Very young.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm a dancer. So we anyway perform. So I was never conscious. During Kaidi in Diary, I'll tell you an instance. Kamal sir, there was a time, I don't know, there was something about my hand. And I didn't know what to do with my hands, because for an actor, the biggest issue most actors will understand is, what do they do with their hands? Most men put it into their pockets. What do women do? They will hold their pallu. If you don't have a pallu, what do you do with your hands? And I think it was in Venus Colony in the studio, Kamalji told me, the biggest issue is hands. Ilya, he said. And I realized that he has noticed. And I said, Ama, I don't know what to do. Enga pudikirudhu enna pandradhu theriyala. My hands are feeling loose. And that's when he said, the day you forget what your hands are doing, you will be fine. And I thought that was a great advice. And I've always remembered that. So then I actually am not at all conscious of my hands also now.
Is it ever possible to forget that you're Revathi performing and totally become this character? That's what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
That is what I love about my profession.
Right.
I can just forget who I am, and I can just be like, Malayalam, there's a movie called Kakoti Kavla Pupantadigal. I acted as a gypsy. Oh, I loved doing that, because I was doing, I was wearing dirty clothes. I was dirty, looking dirty all the time. And I would sit anywhere. I would just, wipe my mouth. And I was happy doing it. And suddenly I felt, oh, it would have been a great thing to have a gypsy life, isn't it? So I really love getting into these roles. So for me, every role, if you show me a photograph from any film, I'll tell you which film that is, because I know the difference.
Right.
You may not know, because I might be wearing sari in 4 films, but I know why I wore what and how I looked.
Right.
Because I really love doing that.
So in your career, when you trace back, like from 1983 onwards, is there a point where you can say, this is when I started becoming a good actor?
I think in about 5-6 films, I understood what I am capable of and what I'm not capable of.
Okay.
Because I realized that there are certain things I'm not capable of. And I avoided those characters because I was not comfortable doing it.
What kind of characters?
The 80s were the time where you wore very funny clothes, furry things with gum boots in
Gloves,
Chennai and dance in Vijaya stage and Vijaya studios here. I was very uncomfortable doing that. So 1 or 2 films I have done it, and then I realized this is not, I don't want to do it. So if a film has this, I will not do it, or I will not do that film, basically. So those were things. Slowly I learned what I'm not comfortable with and what is it that I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
So I walked, slowly paved my path towards that.
Yeah. 80s were also a period where if you're an urban heroine, you wore hats.
Yeah, and you did break dance. Oh my God!
What is
when
with
I
the
see
hats?
it?
Hats. I mean, like, who wears hats?
Who
You know?
wears hats? Oh, I remember wearing one furry orange color hat in one. Oh, anyways,
That's fun.
It was fun.
It is fun. But thank you for sharing your memories and also what it is to be a director, because I think I've seen a lot of actors become directors and a lot of directors also become actors. And
That many.
many
Now.
now, yeah. So that's always interesting. In fact, Baradwaj gave one of my
Yes.
favorite recent performances
Yeah.
in Kurunga Bommai. I don't know if you've seen that film, Mithilan's first film.
No, I haven't seen that.
It was a simply spectacular performance, and I could see, okay, so this is the man who, taught people how to act. Because it was like just watching him in that role, it broke my heart. It was fantastic. So you should
okay.
watch it if you haven't. So
I saw the Dhanush, Prakash Raj and
Tiruchitrambalam. Yeah, he
Tiruchitrambalam.
was
I
fantastic.
loved Sir so much in that, and I went and told him.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh my God, இதுக்கு தான் நீங்க வந்தீங்கல்ல முதல்ல ஊர்ல இருந்து."
That's what happened. So how
Yeah.
things change. But all the best for good wife, and lovely meeting you.
Thank you, Baradwaj.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
டார்லிங் மொபைல் உலகின் சூப்பர் ஸ்டார்
MCR Pure Cotton Club, formals and casual shirts.
பாரம்பரியமான சுவையான புது அறிமுகம் KTV True Value Brona Tile.